Hey guys, this is Full Stuff Incorporated, and I'm here to give my Timelord Kaiju deck profile. But before I get into that, I'm also going to what I've been doing. I have been working on this deck. I have been working on this for quite a number of days. In fact, I've been trying to work with Kaiju for a good number of months, just because the deck intrigued me, and now I just can't get myself to stop playing it whenever I get into it. Because the deck is so tricky, and the fact that you have to manage your resources and know when to set a kaiju, know what kaiju to bring out. Just too many situations call for the wrong kaiju for you to play this deck perfectly on your first try. And I found that out the hard way. So, yeah, this deck is pretty fun in my experience. I mean, this is anti-meta as I can get, unless you kind of like hand-trapped, invoked, or something, that kind of stuff. But other than that, this is kind of a build I've been wanting to do for a while, just because the deck intrigued me that much. And it doesn't have an extra deck just because I didn't feel a need, but if you're really that desperate, go put in your Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon, Gustav Max, Super Dora, Absolute Zero, whatever you want. You just be sure that these are actually usable. So, that being said, I'm about to go ahead and get into the deck list. So starting off, we have 2 Zaphaon the Timelord. This card's just unfair. It's just amazing. The fact that this card can send off all back row is just incredible. It's pretty much an instant win against Paleo and can sweep out True Dracos pretty easy if you're coming across some more rogue decks. And it can take on Pendulum Magician and Spiral pretty well, getting rid of some of their protection and some of their searching abilities, which is always nice. And also, its added effect where you can draw a card when it's sent from the field to the graveyard is great for advanced draw. So, yeah, Zaphaon is awesome at 2. But then here are the one else I put in. 1 Metaion the Timelord, 1 Camion the Timelord, and 1 Lazion the Timelord. I'll start with Metaion because this is the most notable Timelord. I mean, the reason I don't run it at multiples is just because I hate drawing this thing at multiples. And considering that Time Maiden can get to it pretty easy and so can Mathematician, this card is really freaking good in my opinion. I feel like you should run it at 1, just because Zaphaon at 2 is more ideal for advanced draw. But if it didn't have that ability, Zaphaon would be run at 1 as well. But Metaion itself is really freaking good because of its ability to spin the field. And, well, not exactly spin, just put a monster in the field back into the hand aside from itself and flip under for each. And all these Time Lords cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and you cannot deal any battle damage involving these cards. So, yeah, they are pretty freaking sick. I just love the Time Lords to death in this deck because they gave me more stall ability and granted me more resources for my Kaiju. So this card, this engine in general is amazing for Kaiju. Now, on the Camion, which is pretty much the Ignister, and a little bit of burn, and it's strike proof. So, yeah, whenever it battles a monster, it can spin a card and your opponent controls back into the deck, and you inflict 500 points of damage. So, yeah, this card's really freaking good because of its ability to just send the card back, and it's strike proof. So, yeah. I mean, the fact that all of them get sent to the deck is not really a problem either, considering you can reuse them, not to worry about them being sent to the graveyard later on if they can't deal with it immediately. And all these are immune to Sleeper, too, so, yeah. And then there's Lazion the Timelord, which is probably my favorite one in the deck. I mean, against Pendulum Magician, absolutely, it's kind of useless. It's not the worst thing. But against Spiral, this thing is devastating. Because you can just send all those cards back into the deck. It's just amazing, man. It's crazy. But, for Lazion, like, it's more for Graveyard Reliant matches, obviously. It's there at 1 just because it's good burn, and it's also just another Time Lord target, really. But I have all of them in there just in case I come across one I don't like. That's why I don't hardly run any of them at multiples at Zaphaon. And now onto the other monster being Time Maiden, because Time Maiden is amazing. It makes Time Lords so freaking unfair. It searches Time Lords so you can summon them immediately. You can summon them from the deck with no drawback aside from not summoning monsters for the rest of the turn. It's just insane. I freaking love Time Maiden to death. I cannot stress that enough. And to support it, we have 2 Mathematicians to send away those Time Maidens. And the fact that you can draw this card destroyed by battle is always nice too. And now into the Kaiju, which is going to be 3 Jitsukiru. 3 Jitsukiru is awesome. Considering that you're going to have counters this time around, you probably will need to hear these effects. During the player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets exactly one card anywhere, you can remove 3 Kaiju counters from anywhere on the field and negate that effect. And if you do, destroy one card on the field. This card is awesome because, honestly, it's a big 3,000 beer that can hardly be targeted, if at all. And it generates its own counter, so you can do it twice if you have just Waterfront. And that's not including Kaiju files either. So, yeah, Jitsukiru is really freaking good, in my opinion. It's worth the 3. And then there's 2 Dogoran, which is a nice Raigeki on legs. And it kind of helps in tangent with ckoverit Radiant, but I don't run Radiant in this build because I needed more stall, really. And this thing is probably the best Kaiju to give your opponent, unless you don't have enough counters or something. And then there's Gadarla, the Mystery Dust Kaiju, because the fact that it can cut damage and that you can cut attack points in half is amazing. I mean, just so you can reduce damage and make sure they can't swing over the thing without effects. Having to waste resources to get rid of this thing. Not to mention it can be pretty easy to get on the field with proper counters. And it's easy to just send over to your opponent if you need to, just so you can swing it over with Jitsukiru. And then there's 3 Gameciel Sea Turtle Kaiju, the best Kaiju in the deck, easily. Like, you can debate me on this, but I think that Gameciel is the best Kaiju, just because of its ability to negate effects by removing 2 mirror counters and banishing them. And in combination with Moon Mirror Shield is a very unforgiving combination. And it's the weakest Kaiju by stats, but it's having defense, so if you were to tribute, let's say your opponent's a monster without Waterfront up, you're good to go. Or if you have enough counter, just tribute for Gameciel, summon Jitsukiru, swing over Gameciel, and then continue on with your plays. It's really not that big of a problem for Gameciel at 3 in this deck. I love this card to death. And lastly for the Kaiju, we have Kamungus, the Sticky String Kaiju. This thing is freaking awesome too. Like, considering that it's effectively easy to get off and it can do pretty well against decks that swarm a lot. I mean, yeah, you probably wouldn't like it too much just because you prefer Gameciel, but this thing's always neat to have in reserve. And lastly for the monsters, 1 Maxi, because Maxi is broken. And now for the spells, we need 3 Terraforming and 3 Waterfront. We need Waterfront immediately in this deck. You can run Terraforming at 2, I do not care, but run Waterfront at 3, dude. I'm running at 2. I don't understand why they do it at 2, considering that Cosmic Cyclone is a thing, and some people still play Blue Eyes. So, Kill the Waterfront is very, very essential to the strategy. So, yeah, there's that. And also you get counters off of your Time Maiden, too, which is always nice. And then there's 1 Year Old Kaiju Slumber. It's searchable. It's not that big of a problem that it went to 1. I mean, it hurt, but it didn't put the deck in jeopardy or anything. Not to mention the thing is still searchable by Kaiju files, so that's not too bad, right? And then there's 3 Kaiju files, because I always want to see this thing in my opening hand. You hear me right now. I always want to see this thing. It's amazing. Just the fact that it can switch out Kaiju, and it can generate counters for your Waterfront, and it can also search your Interrupted Kaiju Slumber is amazing. So, yeah, this thing at 3 is always nice. Just because I just prefer it that way. But then there's Advanced Draw. I put this thing to 2 in here. I wanted to put in 3 so bad, but then I remembered that I don't have enough Kaiju to do that. I mean, Zaphaion is the most ideal target by far, but still, Advanced Draw at 3 clawed bad when I tried it out. Just because I didn't have enough Kaiju, I didn't have Thunder King in here. Just because I didn't want to make it super aggressive when it didn't have to be, when I already have Time Lords to send stuff back, helping you out resource your opponent. So, Advanced Draw at 2 is always nice, just because Zaphion's the best target. And then last for the spells, 2 Moon Mirror Shield. Moon Mirror Shield is amazing. Equipped with Gameciel, you pretty much win the game. So, as a Waterfront, Gameciel, Moon Mirror Shield, you win. That's basically what it is, dude. Considering that Gameciel cannot be Kaiju, considering it's already a Kaiju, it's just incredible, man. And now for the trash being 2 Dark Bribe. Okay. I know people are going to question me about this, but let me explain why Dark Bribe's a good card. You only play it on cards that are essential to stopping your opponent. It's used to stop your opponent from completely taking advantage of the duel. If they draw, I don't know, Cosmic Cyclone on your Waterfront, draconic diagram or something along those lines, like something that could completely shift the tide of the duel, Dark Bribe is there for you. If they draw something else, they were going to draw it the next turn anyway, and they will most of the time have another turn because because this deck is not super aggressive. It's meant to be stall, and Dark Bribe helps in that style very much, considering that you can help maintain the control because it's a lot more flexible than most other cards in the game are. Like, Seven Tools of the Bandit, like Wiretap. They only stop traps, where Dark Bribe can stop spells or traps. So, Dark Bribe is a very good card in my opinion, and you should try it out as well. And lastly, Solemn Scolding. I run it too just because, come on, I just stress this enough. Solemn Scolding is incredible in this deck. You know how much back row is set, and considering that you almost never lose light points in general, and that it's pretty much to stop anything, pretty much, this card is very ideal for the deck. I mean, everything about it just completely ties the deck together just because it's that good. Like, I tried it at 3, it was horrible, because if you draw multiples, one's useless. So, yeah, Solemn Scolding is incredible in the deck, and maybe some others too. So, here's my Kaiju Timelord deck profile. And, honestly, I would take this deck to a locals, which I have this deck in real life, so I should be able to at least give some kind of deck list or some kind of side deck so I can give it to you guys later on if I make this deck video again. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys like it, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, join the Fight for Army, and together we will beat the meta. Talk to you guys next time, hope you enjoy my next video, but until then, take care of yourselves.